Hi and welcome back. So today our supervisor Loki is going to be sitting in this chair. It does squeak. He does have a habit of getting up and down. Yes, you do. And he likes to make sure that I'm doing things correctly. And today we are going to talk about fertilizer and what I do and what my thoughts are. And there he goes. All right, let's get to the video. So I thought while we sat here and talked about my ideas of fertilizing and how I fertilize my collection, we could look at the beautiful pink Dendrobium No ID. She bloomed last year with 3 blooms and graced me this year with 3 more blooms. And I'm going to apologize ahead of time if you hear the little pitter patter of puppy feet, because they have all decided that they are wanting to move around while I am trying to film. And this is about take 10. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. If you hear the little pitter patter, I apologize now. With that, so fertilizing, I fertilize my orchids from March, end of March, end of March to the end of September. I fertilize between 150 and 300 parts per million, depending on what the orchid is in. My orchids that I have in moss, I only fertilize at 150 parts per million. My reasoning behind that is because moss stays wet longer than, say, your bark. This way the orchids have more time, I guess, to absorb, and you have more chance of a salt buildup if you put too much in there. So with those orchids that are in moss, I fertilize at 150 parts per million. The water that I soak them in has that fertilizer in it. Once I see everything go through, at the next time that needs to be watered, because it needs to be watered more frequently, during the summer and spring when things are in active growth, I will use plain water. So they only get fertilizing every other watering during the growing season. During the non-growing season, from the beginning of November to March, end of March, when I start fertilizing again, they get no fertilizer except once a month. And I try to do that in the middle of the month, because at the beginning of every month, regardless of the time of year, all of my orchids get a Epsom salt soak. I soak all of them for 30 minutes. Even those that are in moss, they get a 30-minute soak. I do a quick flush through. That is the only time I run water over the moss and not soak it, to flush everything out. And those that are in decorative pots, I leave it out of the decorative pot, the moss pots. I leave out of the decorative pot for 24 hours to help get all that excess water that I've just put in there out. After that, I'll put them back in their decorative pot, and it does take it a little bit longer to dry than usual, but I adjust my watering accordingly. Why do I stop fertilizing in October? So the full month of October, everyone just gets plain filtered water. Again, I use the 0 water filter system for my orchids. My thought process behind that is October is usually when a lot of plants will slow down or even stop growing. All of the fertilizer that we've been pushing in there all season may not all have been used. So that entire month, I'm just flushing all the excess out, because again, at the beginning, they do get that Epsom salt soak, so that it kind of helps loosen all that out. They all have, okay, I'm not going to say all my pots. 99% of all of my pots have slow release fertilizer in them. So there may still be some of that active when I'm watering, but I don't add anything in. So how do I determine who gets what after that? So what I'll do beginning of November, those orchids that are showing active growth, whether it be active root growth, whether they're working on new vegetative growth, a spike, any kind of growth, they get anywhere from 80 to 150 parts per million of fertilizer every other watering. I do that again to keep salt buildup in my pots during the slower time of the year. I'm not sure if that makes sense to anyone. It has worked for me for the last 2 years. And so far, I don't have a lot of salt buildup in my pots. I did initially, when I first started growing orchids, I was not giving a month of flushing, basically. I was not doing the Epsom salts on a regular basis. And I had a lot of salt buildup in my pots, which of course is not a good thing for our orchids. So since I've started doing the monthly Epsom salts And then last year in October, I did nothing but flushes, and again, very low fertilizing during the winter season. Picked it back up in the spring. I've seen better results in my orchids, well, in their pots, maybe not the orchids themselves, but in the pots. I feel like that has a lot to do with the lushness of a lot of my orchids and the growths that I've seen this year. We'll just talk about Sherry Baby right here. Since I stopped doing the excess fertilizing, her pot has not built up with salts, and she's actually done better this year than any other year. When I start fertilizing again, so for instance, this one here, when I start fertilizing again next month, this one will get no fertilizer. She has 0 roots. 0 roots. I don't know what I did. She had 2 new growths coming, some roots coming, and everything just kind of stopped. So what I do is I'm soaking her. She is very moist down here to create some humidity to help encourage some root growth. She does have a couple of roots there, but she'll get no fertilizer because she's not doing anything. She's doing absolutely nada. Whereas Hibiki here is still working on lots of new growths. She has a keiki still left on there. So she will start getting her fertilizer again. So how do I determine, let's just for giggles say she is growing and I will be using fertilizer. How do I determine how much fertilizer I'm giving? Well, let's just say she was working on 2 new growths and had lots of roots. She would get anywhere from 85 to 100 parts per million every other week during the winter season. Whereas Hibiki would get the 150 because she's got multiple growths that she's working on and roots. So that's kind of how I determine who gets what. During the winter season as well, I actually have 2 buckets of water. I have one that has the fertilizer in it, and then I have one that just has plain water. This way I'm not having to move plants to the side and do all those that need to be fertilized and then go back and handle the pot again in order to do those that don't get fertilizer. I hope all that makes sense to you guys. The fertilizer that I use currently is the MSU fertilizer. I have ordered some K-Lite that I am going to start using in November at the lower rates, and I'm going to alternate the K-Lite with the MSU fertilizer every time that I water. And I'm doing that because, well, you know, just like us, we like a variety of things to eat. I figure I'd give my orchids a variety of things to pull up and sustain on and see if that makes a difference on the collection for next year. I may just do it with a handful of plants, or I may do it with all of them. I haven't quite decided that yet. Leave your comments down below and let me know what you think we should do. Should we have a control group? I'm thinking if we do have the control group, then it should just be my Phalaenopsis, like my hybrid Phalaenopsis that I've had for a while, and I really, really know their growth and their patterns, instead of just randomly picking different genre to see how they are. Let me know what you think, and we'll come up with a plan. And let me know what your fertilizing routine is during this time of the year, where things are starting to slow down, some things are starting to go into their rest. Do you continue feeding like you did? Do you stop it altogether? When do you pick it back up? All that good stuff. Leave it down in the comments below so we can all learn from that. And with that, you guys have a wonderful day. I hope to see you again.